A lot of people asking, how do you get on a private claim? Well, there's a lot of ways to get on a private claim. If I had to make a suggestion to somebody who didn't know anybody in Alaska, I would suggest you look on Google Earth and start looking for mines that have vehicles parked there. You know, something that's active. And my number one suggestion and best suggestion to help you out, if you don't know people in Alaska and you want to do what I did and just up and go, is to find those mines on Google Earth and find an area where there's a whole bunch of them in a small area. Drive up there, pull in, and talk to the owner. Most of the time these guys are running D10s, wash plants. They don't have time to piddle with small dredge stuff. As a matter of fact, a lot of them will laugh at you when you say you want to dredge because they're just so into the bigger equipment and the material movement and how many yards they can move that a dredge is just piddly. So, you know, they basically laughed at me and said, have at it. You know, we don't want nothing to do with it. So, well, they did want something to do with it. They wanted 15% of whatever I found, but they didn't want to mine it themselves or anything like that. The creek was open, nobody's touched it, no one cared to touch it. So we went down there and started prospecting, and must have been 2 hours of sampling before we got a pan that had, I'm talking a test pan that had 5 pickers and 2 nuggets in it. And then we thought, wow, you know, the 750 over 5 days is about to get ran over by our new spot here. So we brought the dredges in there and we started going at it. And day 1 an ounce, day 2 an ounce, day 3 an ounce. And that brought us to Friday, which is clean out day. So we had to go up to the mine above us and clean out in front of them so they could get their 15%. And it was at that point that they said, wow, you know, you guys are making a lot of money, and you guys have found 3 ounces. We haven't even found 3 ounces. And here they are up D10s, diesel costs, multiple guys, wash plants, and we're down here with a 3-inch dredge and a 4-inch dredge operated by someone else, and we're pulling more money than these mine workers. So I saw the little sparkle in their eye thinking, oh, man, you know, maybe I should, if it doesn't go well in the next week, maybe I should grab a dredge and head down there. And But in the three-week period of time at the end of summer, we were able to do right around 12,000 bucks in 3 weeks. So it started off really strong, ounce a day for 3 days, and then it slowly dwindled at, you know, into a more average payout. And that seemed to be right around half to 3/4 of an ounce a day or so. Some days being a 1/4 ounce or whatever. And to tell you the truth, at the end of the season, after living in the woods that long and all that, you know, I was kind of getting, all of us were kind of getting a little bit burnt out on mining. I mean, you can love to mine all you want, but, you know, you're in harsh conditions for, you know, a good length of time, and, you know, showers are hard to come by, toilets are hard to come by, food, anything, you know, it's all rough out there. You're in the middle of nowhere, so you can't just roll to town real quick, you know, so. By the time we started getting into the good gold, we had 3 weeks of the season and left. And there were a couple days, you know, honestly, where we did 500 bucks by lunch, and we just said, you know what, let's just relax the rest of the day and have a good time, and we did. So, you know, we started off not making nothing, learned a little bit, made a little more, learned a little bit, made a little more. And then the networking that we were doing, just meeting people here and there and talking. I mean, if a guy is willing to go out to a public, open to the public area and just start chatting with people, you'd be surprised what people are willing to offer. You know, I've said it before in my videos. I thought people were going to be stingy with their gold stuff. You know, that's how I've always pictured it in my head. You know, don't give up those gold secrets, you know, you'll have the planet there the next day stealing it from you kind of mentality. But it was the exact opposite. There was many times when people said, hey, I found a good pile over here, get your dredge over here, let's hit it together. And you know, that's kind of touching, man. It was just the exact opposite of what I thought the mentality was going to be. So that was inviting and exciting to see people working together like that. Going back to getting onto a private claim, I suggest you look you know, on Google Earth, try to find a concentration of mines in a small area, drive up in there and ask for the owner. Most of these guys, like I said, they don't touch the creek ever. And they don't care if somebody does. It's just sitting there. It's part of their claim. They're just not legally allowed to use that kind of equipment in the creek. And in Alaska, up to a 6-inch dredge, you don't need anything but a permit. So as long as you stay below a 6-inch dredge, things are pretty easy. What else here? That's my suggestion on the private, you know, getting on private claims. There's a lot of ways to go about it. If you think you're going to drive up to Alaska and find a river or creek claim, you can buy one from someone who already owns it, but if you think you're going to come up here and stake a claim on a creek or a river, it's really tough. That's where the manVSgold is. That's where people claim first. If you're looking to do, you know, D10 work or